Imagine waking to sirens that aren't a drill. In the space of minutes, the sky blooms into artificial dawns, white suns stacked on the horizon. It feels like the end, because in one crucial sense, it is. The moment when our greatest weaponry turns inward. This isn't nature's fury. This is ours. The scary thing about nuclear war isn't only the blast, it's what follows. Cities don't just vanish. Supply lines do. Hospitals do. Trust does. Survivors face burns, trauma, and fallout. But the deadliest curve is slower. Smoke. When enough cities burn, soot lofts into the stratosphere, where rain can't wash it out. It spreads planet-wide, veiling sunlight, dropping temperatures, shrinking growing seasons. Crops fail first in fragile regions, and then in places that thought they were safe. Famine doesn't respect borders. We built deterrence on a paradox. Weapons so devastating no one would dare use them. Yet, history shows misjudgments, near launches, and systems that are only as perfect as the people who run them. False alarms have happened. Accidents have happened. We forget how often we've been lucky. Now, widen the frame. Even a limited exchange could darken skies enough to batter agriculture for years. It isn't the radius of a single explosion that undoes civilization, it's the long night that follows. Energy grids strain without stable demand. Refugees move not for war alone, but for weather. Economies contract. Governments already weakened must choose between rationing and unrest. In that fragile window, secondary crises bloom. Disease from crowded shelters, water contamination where treatment plants fail, regional conflicts as nations hoard what's left of the harvest. And then there's the invisible shock, the electrical kind. High-altitude detonations can create electromagnetic pulses that fry unshielded electronics over vast areas. Even without a single city cratered, communications, finance, transport, and emergency response could be crippled. Imagine hospitals without monitors, air traffic control without screens, supermarkets without digital logistics. Our resilience looks less like stone and more like glass when the current stops. If you're looking for hope, it starts with humility. Treaties have worked before. Verification has worked before. De-escalation has, on more than one frightening night, saved us. The technology that endangers us also enables inspection, monitoring, and dialogue. But it's a race between wisdom and latency, between how fast decisions are made and how long their consequences endure. Nuclear weapons aren't a natural disaster, yet their worst consequence, darkened skies and failed harvests, is delivered by the Earth itself. Fire we light, winter the planet gives back. Hold that thought, because not every human-made threat is loud. Some of the most dangerous begin with a whisper, a cough that no one hears, in a place no one is watching.
We learned in recent years how a virus can redraw the map of daily life. Borders close, flights empty, cities quiet. But imagine the same speed with sharper teeth, a pathogen tweaked not by chance, but by intent, or by error. Labs that study dangerous microbes operate under strict controls, and most researchers dedicate their lives to preventing harm. Yet, biology, especially when accelerated by new tools, doesn't ask for our permission to be misused or mishandled. Modern biotechnology can do extraordinary good, design vaccines, edit genes that cause suffering, even engineer microbes to clean pollution. The same tools can also, in the wrong hands or under the wrong pressures, craft something new. Faster spread, longer infectious period, evasion of the immune system, higher severity. A perfect storm doesn't need to be perfect. It needs only to be good enough at several things at once. Picture how it unfolds. Early signals look like seasonal noise, an uptick in fevers, a cluster of pneumonia. By the time clinicians notice a pattern, airports have done what airports do, stitched distant cities together. Meanwhile, social media amplifies rumors faster than health systems can confirm facts. Panic travels at the speed of the feed. Conspiracy and denial flower, making the one tool we always need, cooperation, harder to reach. Now the cascade: protective equipment shortages, staff burnout, critical drugs delayed by choked supply chains. It's not just the pathogen that hurts us, it's the weight it lays on everything else we depend on. We triage cancer screenings because ICU beds are full. We postpone surgeries. We run ambulances longer between refueling because a hacked scheduling system misrouted tankers 2 months ago, and no one noticed until today. Engineered pandemics aren't only about malicious actors, they're also about complexity, systems so intertwined that a small failure multiplies. Consider agriculture. A targeted livestock disease can erase protein from national diets in weeks. Consider antibiotics. We have, over decades, trained some bacteria to shrug at our best medicines. That evolution is natural. The speed is not. It's ours, our overuse, our shortcuts, our impatience, coming back with a bill. So what keeps this in the realm of possibility instead of fate? Surveillance that listens to sewage and clinic databases and airline patterns at once. Research culture that treats safety as an ethos, not a box to check. International norms that make it harder to hide dangerous work and easier to share what we learn. And public trust earned not through slogans, but through consistent, transparent care, even when the message is, we're still figuring it out. There's a harder truth underneath. We are good at inventing cures, but better at inventing risks. It's faster to build a spark than it is to install sprinklers everywhere fire might spread. Prevention looks expensive right until the day it isn't. If there's a motif to man-made disasters, it's this: power without foresight, speed without brakes. Which brings us to a threat that doesn't burn or cough. It calculates.
We built machines to translate, to diagnose, to navigate, to predict. Then we asked them to optimize. Make this process faster. Make this company leaner. Make this supply chain cheaper. Optimization is a gift until the goal misaligns with what we actually value. The most famous thought experiment imagines an AI tasked to make paperclips and, without constraints, turning everything, including us, into raw material. That sounds absurd until you realize it's a parable about incentives. Today, algorithms already trade markets, schedule freight, approve loans, triage news, and control parts of the power grid. None of them want paperclips, but all of them want, because we told them to, maximize something: profit, engagement, throughput. And maximizing is precisely how you find edge cases that humans didn't mean. Now place those optimizers into the nervous system of civilization: power generation, water treatment, hospital networks, navigation satellites, undersea cables. Cyber attacks don't need missiles to cause kinetic chaos. A coordinated strike by a state, a criminal syndicate, or an automated agent can corrupt data, lock operators out, and make safe systems behave in unsafe ways. In a power grid, milliseconds matter. In a hospital, minutes do. Cascades begin quietly and accelerate. As one region sheds load to save itself, neighbors inherit the stress. Soon the problem is bigger than any one operator can see. We think of AI catastrophe as a rogue superintelligence, a sci-fi villain with a face. But the likelier path is duller and more dangerous. Many narrow systems interacting in ways no one fully mapped. An optimization over here strips just enough redundancy over there that a separate optimization fails. A cost-saving measure nudges a maintenance schedule, that nudges a corrosion problem, that nudges a safety valve. And one Tuesday afternoon, the pressure reading lies. Add autonomous weapons to that picture. Once decision loops compress below human reaction times, escalation becomes a technical parameter, not a diplomatic choice. We design safeguards, confidence-building measures, humans in the loop. Then, under stress, someone flips them to human on the loop, and then, for a few crucial minutes, to no human at all. A drone interprets a radar return as hostile. A countermeasure interprets the drone as hostile. Feedback feeds back. Afterward, everyone swears they meant to keep us in control. There is another path, quieter but no less final. Geoengineering gone wrong. Desperate to cool a feverish planet, we seed the sky with reflective particles without fully mapping monsoon patterns. Or we fertilize oceans without anticipating ecological side effects. The intent is noble: buy time, shave peaks off heat waves, prevent crop failures. But climate is a web, not a dial. Tug the wrong strand, and water shifts where it's needed. Seasons slip, and 1 billion people downstream discover that someone else's temporary measure became their permanent drought. Notice the theme. Our inventions do exactly what we ask, and exactly what we forget to ask. They accelerate the world beyond the speed of our institutions, our laws, our ethics. If a misaligned system can make money or win a conflict, it will be built. If it can be built, it will be copied. If it is copied, someone will connect it to something critical to test at scale. So what does resilience look like in a world where code runs almost everything? First, alignment. Not just for hypothetical superintelligence, but for the systems we already deploy. Objectives should include safety margins, human oversight, auditability, and the boring duty to fail safely. Second, friction. We need brakes, procedural and technical, that make it harder to couple risky systems too tightly. Third, redundancy. Reserves are not waste, they are civilization's shock absorbers. And finally, humility. The more complex the system, the more modest our claims should be about what we can predict. Because the real apocalypse isn't a single blow. It's a stack of brittle choices packed so close that when one fails, the rest don't have room to flex.
We've walked through disasters of our own making, fire that darkens the sun, microbes shaped by human hands, and machines that follow our commands so literally they stop listening altogether. None of this is inevitable. Each future depends on what we reward, what we regulate, and what, together, we refuse to build.
In the first chapter, we faced the indifference of nature. In the second, our own ambition. But ahead lies the most dangerous frontier, not fully natural, not fully human. It's where technology collides with the limits of the planet, and feedback loops spiral out of control. Picture this: a megafire, fueled by record heat, melts the power lines feeding the pumps meant to stop the blaze. A cyber attack cripples hospitals under a brutal heat dome at the exact moment a lab-engineered virus begins to spread. And geoengineering, launched with the best intentions to cool the Earth, reroutes rainfall away from fields the world cannot afford to lose. Do you see the pattern? The next apocalypse isn't a single blow. It's a stack of brittle systems bound so tightly that when one buckles, the rest have nowhere to bend. In the next episode, we'll step into this future, the world of cascading crises, and ask one question: can civilization bend, or will it break?